Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is Lynn Petronella, your hostess of Call Me Mommy, the radio cast for the golden era of USA. A lot of what I worked on in my career was about gold and USA First. So I found it very fascinating that this is where we have been going with the presidency. And I do believe it's a very valid tagline. When training for the Olympics, we were not given much help. The Olympic Committee was not interested in the amateur athletes whatsoever. We didn't have a safety net. We had to have jobs. We couldn't take money. And everything was pretty much on your own. So in 1980, when Jimmy Carter boycotted the Olympics, it was a very devastating blow for that team. Not as devastating for myself because I actually had a great job with Pepsi putting on this amazing race series. But what was happening at the same time was I was becoming a really good runner. So those two trajectories of things happening changed my whole perspective of what Olympic athletes in this country deserve. If you're going to run and win a gold medal in the United States, you shouldn't be treated like a second-class citizen and then have the national anthem with the flag when nobody helps you to get there. And when I say nobody, it's pretty much your parents and your coach, and nobody gets paid. And I say this because a lot of the media didn't report any of this, and nobody cared. They cared less about women athletes because there weren't that many of us then. This is back in the late 70s. The men were also being shortchanged, and there were very stringent rules. I don't know if you know the career of Steve Prefontaine. There's two great movies out about his life. And I came right after Steve Prefontaine and right when Nike started. So I was kind of an anomaly, but I had the same feelings about the Olympics and the Olympic Committee. They were backward. They were antiquated in their notion of what Olympic athletes could do, and they were just as difficult on the men. And I say it because a lot of athletes from other countries could come to America and get paid. So they would get paid with money in our country and then go back to their country, and they would get no repercussions whatsoever because they didn't have the same AAU, Amateur Athletic Union's stringent guidelines. And I say it because in order for Joan Benoit or anybody to get to the Olympics, it's a rocky, twisted, complex road. I said I didn't know I needed a lawyer, an accountant, and, a psychological evaluation to figure out which way the wind was going to blow with the politics of the country and the politics of sports. Very, very toxic. Very, very complex. And it's interesting because it's like we wanted to get the women's marathon in, and everything came down to money. We had to get sponsorship. We had to get TV coverage. And once they saw that there were lots of people who wanted it in and that they could possibly make money off of it, I'm saying the powers that be, the networks and the Olympic Committee, not necessarily the athletes, are like, hey, yeah, we'll put it in. Let them win the gold medal and blah, blah, blah. But I was in the trenches trying to help an American win because it wasn't so easy to have an American win. They were flying people in from other countries, Norway, Africa, and other places, and they weren't that good. I mean, Norway, Greta Waitz was exceptional, but she was allowed. So what she wasn't doing was illegal. But it put Joan Benoit and our athletes at a very distinctive disadvantage because you had to do it on your own. And I say that only because now I'm looking at this bigger picture of America First and the golden era. We've had the same exact thing happen in business. We outsource our business. We import foreign workers. The American people get the short end of the stick. It seems to be an epidemic of shorting our own citizens. And this is why I very much got behind politics, because I really feel it's a much bigger issue than the Olympics. Why do we do that? Why do we disenfranchise our American athletes, our American workers? I mean, it's almost cruel to do that, but we do it. They're not necessarily better. They might be. We have great talent, brains, and every other thing that you can have anywhere else right here in America. And that to me is it's like picking a child from another family and saying, okay, now this is going to be the one we take care of. And again, I'm likening it to illegal immigration because this has played out for everybody to see for a long time now, and it's just out of control. We have great people in this country that would love to get a chance. All ages. I'm going to say this goes across every age, sex, and race. And we disenfranchise our American people. That's cruelty. And we don't seem to see it as cruel. I think it's inhumane. That said, with the new president, I'm hoping we get back to a semblance of order and appreciation for the people that actually live and raise their families here. So in the golden era of America First, I wanted to just bring up something. It's called the Golden Rule. We were raised with the Golden Rule, and everything is gold. Again, Trump has that. I have it. I've had it for a long time because when you win the gold, that's the epitome of winning. And I said having a baby is bigger than an Olympic event. That's why I made a special medal for mothers. That medal to me is the ultimate win, a baby. That's my perspective. This is my show. You're getting my version of what I believe from things I've done and seen and things I've been through. And when you say the golden rule, it used to be, most people were raised with the golden rule. And having been raised Catholic, I just want to know if anybody right now could recite the 10 Commandments without reading them. Could they do them from memory? Because we used to have to memorize a lot of things in Catholic school when we were children. We had to memorize them. And if you don't remember the Golden Rule and the 10 Commandments, I'd like to share the Golden Rule and the 10 Commandments with you today. And let's see how many of these we're all following. Because I think all of us, including myself, get off track. So let's start with the 10 Commandments. Number 1, you shall have no other gods before me. Number 2, you shall make no idols. Number 3, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Number 4, keep the Sabbath day holy. Number 5, honor your father and your mother. Number 6, you shall not murder. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 8, you shall not steal. Number 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And number 10, you shall not covet. And if you don't know what covet means, it means want something somebody else has. And I will be honest with you. I think we've gone way off of this. If you really take a hard look at society, I think we've almost inbred coveting as a cultural right. I'm going to just coveting somebody's spouse, coveting somebody's home, business, position. That seems to be a big one that I've experienced with other people. I'm trying to mind my own business and everybody's like, I want what she has. I think I'll take that from her. I've had that happen quite a few times in my life. But just because you might have been raised with the golden rule, and this is the hard part about going through life, doesn't mean everybody you're around is going to behave in that manner. And that can also set you up to be put in very unpleasant situations. And none of us are perfect. We're all going to fall. We're all going to fail. We're all going to make mistakes. That's 10 Commandments. They're very difficult to keep and stay with. I get it. Unfortunately, as humans, we're all tempted. And that's the big temptation. I think Earth is a test. It's a test of, are you going to get through all of these things? I laugh that all these people are online with these video games. You don't have to be online with a video game. Go out and live your life. That's a video game right there. Who you going to dodge today? Who's going to come after you for no reason? Who might steal something from you? Who might gossip and make up a story? I mean, there's many things that you're going to encounter in this lifetime. A, that can be completely untrue, and B, are preposterous. But, they say, and I'm going to say also now with the internet, you can have one story come out and it can destroy people's lives and careers and all those things. So there's an exponential increase of the potential for that. And that's why I'm glad that they do some kind of, prefacing and policing, because again, we were talking yesterday about a lot of the horrible things that the internet does allow online. I think many of these evil types of things really need to be retracted and taken down. I mean, we're talking grotesquely evil. There's all levels, and getting back to the basics, the golden rule for the golden era. And maybe if you just take one of those 10 commandments, let's make a suggestion. One of those 10 commandments every day, and see, monitor yourself. The young people are all into self-awareness. I want to challenge the millennials with the self-awareness. Is God first in your life? We all have egos. Are you going by that rule? Have you put him first in your life? It's really the first commandment. And that you have no other idols before him. We live in a very confusing society. We honor, like I said, our sports athletes. I'm finding it very curious now that they're finding out that the man that went into the Park Avenue bank building last night and shot people was an ex-football player. And I say that because I was a cheerleader and we did not know what CTE was. All of these things came out many years later, and I always thought, once I was done with cheerleading, I thought it's a very violent sport. When I was at Northwestern, I saw a lot of the guys get their legs ripped up, and I saw one of them, our kicker, we were playing Notre Dame, get jumped on by a football player and have his leg splinted, and I saw the bone come out of his leg, and I said, I do not like this sport. If I ever had boys, they would never play football. Too dangerous. It's an American obsession because it makes a lot of money. I think we've idolized sport over God. We idolize money over God. We idolize sex over God. We idolize drugs. I think what you gotta like back it up a little. What are we doing too much of in this culture? The culture doesn't suddenly become overly violent for no reason. Again, we took God out of school. We took God out of the TV shows. I don't know what they make. It seems very demonic. 99% of the shows are about murder. I mean, seriously, can't you think of a happier subject? We used to watch Flipper and Lassie. I mean, these were shows about animals. And Mr. Ed. I miss that. It was innocence. They're making these shows so perverted, and these people don't even think they're perverted. That's the sad part. The more demonic, the more nasty, the more crude, the more dark, the more money they seem to be getting from Netflix and Amazon, and they're dark. You're dark. I don't see why people think it's okay to be so dark. It's not. So we need the light to come back to America. We need the golden era and the golden age to be about the golden rule. That's my wish. Take one of those commandments every day of this week. First, see if you can recite them all without looking. and see where you stand. You can always tweak your life. You can always start. The thing is, you can always start over. God forgives you of everything you've ever done. You can always start over and say, well, this is where I went wrong. This is where I can do better. But I mean, it's your life. Not everybody's going to do the same journey. It's your journey. So the way you want to live it and the way somebody else may want to live it, you may have to separate paths. And that's okay. You have a heart, a mind, and a soul. And, we often talk about people having their heart broken. I don't really think it's your heart. I think it's your soul. People can break your soul. And if your soul is exposed to these kinds of things day in and day out, they're toxic. It's like toxic food. We're so concerned about what food we're eating. How about what media we're digesting and what books all these books are about murder. I never read this stuff. If I see these stupid 2020 shows, we're giving people a carte blanche on how to kill somebody. Do we have to be obsessed? It's like watching a train wreck. No. Do something uplifting. Don't dwell on that. There's a lot of good in this world. There's a lot of good in this world. I blame the media. They're always chasing a fire, a tragedy. Chase something good. It's all that the sky is falling. The sky is not falling. The sky's not going to fall. Every day you have a clean slate. I hope the golden rule takes you down the golden path to your golden future where you get the victory. Have a nice day.